So today I want to look at fractions with you. Now, everyone always hates fractions. Personally, I love them. I think they're really easy. And let me show you just how easy they can be. Now, some teachers talk about cross multiplying. Personally, I don't like that method at all. That used to confuse me when I was a student. It was only when somebody showed me this method that it finally clicked. So I'm hoping that you'll have that moment as well. Now, here I've got 2x over 5 is equal to x plus 4 over 2. Now, I don't want to cross multiply or anything weird like that. What I want to do is find a number that both of my denominators will fit inside, okay? So 5 and 2, they both go into 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this component in brackets and write that number in front. So the 10 was the number that both denominators fit inside. I'm going to do the same here. Brackets, put a 10 in front. Cool. So now I have to think about how many times does my denominator fit inside the number that I wrote in front. So how many times does 5 go into 10? It goes in 2 times. So I'm going to write that down. I'm going to put a 2. And that's cancelled those 2 things out. So what's left? Well, I've got brackets, a 2x, and a closed bracket. And that's that bit done. Okay, so let's do this side. How many times does my denominator fit inside the number that I wrote in front? 2 goes into 10 5 times. So I'm going to write a 5 down. And that's cancelled those 2 things out. So what's left? I've got brackets, x plus 4. Cool. Now I don't have any more fractions. I've got some brackets that I can expand. So 2 times 2x gives me 4x. Then I've got more brackets over here that I need to expand. So 5 times x gives me 5x. 5 times 4 gives me 20. Cool. I want to move all my x's to one side, so I'm going to move this 5x over here. Now, a lot of people get stuck when it comes to trying to move a 5x. Our goal here isn't necessarily to, our goal isn't yet to break it up, we just want to move it. So is this a positive 5 or a negative 5? Positive. So how do you move a plus 5x? You minus 5x. Minus 5x. So they've cancelled out. So now I've got 4x minus 5x gives me negative 1x. I don't actually need to put that 1 in there, but anyway. So now I've got negative 1x is equal to 20. How do I split up the negative 1 and the x? I divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. They've cancelled out, so x is equal to negative 20. Cool. Not that hard with the fractions, was it? Let's do another one. Oh, those numbers are the same. Let's choose a different. Let's choose a different denominator. Actually, let's make this one a 6. No. Yeah, we'll leave it as a 6. Okay. So same dealio here. I need to choose a number that both of my denominators will fit inside. Now, I could multiply them, like I could choose 12, but 2 actually fits inside 6. So I might choose 6 as my magic number. It would also work with 12. But I'm going to choose 6. So I'm going to put everything, each component, inside brackets. And I'm going to put a 6 in front of both. Okay? I've put a 6 in front of this thing, and I've put a 6 in front of this thing. Cool. So now, how many times does my denominator fit inside the number that I wrote in front? 6 goes into 6 one time. So I don't even really need to write this one, but I'm going to do it just to show you. So I've got a 1, then they've cancelled out, so what's left? I've got 8 minus 3w. Now over this side, how many times does 2 go into 6? It goes in 3 times. So that has cancelled those out. So now I've got 2w plus 4. Cool. I really don't need this 1 here. And technically I don't really need the brackets there either. So I've just got 8 minus 3w over this side. And here I do actually have to expand. So 3 2s are 6, 6w, 3 4s are 12. Okay, now I can solve it like a regular equation. So I've got to try and move all my w's to one side and move all my numbers to the other side. So I might choose to move my w's to this side and my numbers to this side. So how do I move a minus 3w? I add 3w plus 3w. So they've cancelled out. So here I've got 8. And on this side I've got 9w plus 12. Okay, now I need to get rid of the 12. So I minus 12. Minus 12, so that gives me negative 4, is equal to 9w. Now, how do I split up my 9 and my w? I divide by 9. Divide both sides by 9. They've cancelled out. So, because I'm running out of room, I have to write it over here. So 9 is equal to negative 4 over 9. W equals negative 4 over 9. Cool, all right. Now, this method that I've showed you about choosing a number that your denominators fit inside and writing it in front, it's great because it also works if you've got two fractions and something that's not a fraction. In fact, this method can be used no matter how many sets of fractions you have in your equation. You could have 30 sets of fractions in your equation. And after you finish crying about having 30 fractions, you could solve it using this same method. Okay, so my goal is to find a number that both denominators fit inside. So 3 5s are 15, so 15 is my magic number. So I'm going to put everything inside brackets, and I'm going to put a 15 in front of everything, including putting a 15 in front of that too. So I go 15, 15, 15. Cool. So now, same as I did before, how many times does my denominator fit inside the number in front? 5 goes into 15 3 times. That cancels those out. What's left? Just my x. Now, how many times does 3 go into 15? It goes in 5 times, so I'm going to put a 5. That cancels them out. So now I've just got 2x left. This one doesn't have a denominator, so I just write it as it is, 15 with brackets 2. 15 brackets 2. Cool. Now I can expand my brackets because there's no longer any fractions in there. So this just becomes 3x. This becomes 5 2s are 10, 10x, and 15 times 2 is 30. Cool. So now I've got some like terms here that I can add. So this gives me 13x is equal to 30. Have to divide by 13, both sides. So they cancel out. So I've got x is equal to 30 over 13. Cool. Now I could type that answer into a calculator if I wanted to and get a decimal, but I can't be bothered. That's still the right answer. So there you go. That's how we do it with fractions. Okay. Now let's do one that has 4 fractions in it at a regular number. So, as horrifying as this is, we can solve it easily using the method that I just showed you. So, we need to find one number that all of our denominators will fit inside. All of them have to fit. So, we've got a 3, a 6, an 8, and a 4. I'm thinking 24. So let's do it. So 24 is my magical number. So I'm going to put this in brackets and put a 24 in front. I'm going to put this in brackets and put a 24 in front. I'm going to put this in brackets and put a 24 in front. This in brackets and put a 24 in front. And this in brackets and put a 24 in front. Okay, so every single component gets put in brackets with a 24 in front because 24 is my magic number that all the denominators fit inside. Okay, so now, how many times does my denominator fit inside the number in front? 3 goes into 24, 8 times. So I'm going to put an 8 there. And that has cancelled those out. So what's left? I've got 2x. Okay, now this one. How many times does 6 go into 24? Goes in 4 times. So that's cancelled those out. What's left? Just x. Now this one. Okay. How many times does 8 go into 24? 3. So they're cancelled out. So what's left? I've got 3x. This one doesn't have a denominator, so I just write it as it is. So 24 with 1 in brackets. Okay, now this one. How many times does 4 go into 26? Goes in 6 times. So what's left over? 5x. See? Not so horrifying. Now there's no more fractions. Now I can expand all of my sets of brackets. Okay, so that gives me 16x. That gives me 4x. That gives me 9x. That gives me 24 equal to 30x. Yikes. Okay, now I've got like terms that I can group. So 16 plus 4 gives me 20. That gives me 29. So 29x plus 24 is equal to 30x. Let me just double check my working. 16, 20, 29. Yep, okay, cool. So now I've got to move my x's to one side. So how do I move 29x? Because it's positive, I'm going to minus 29x. Minus 29x. So now I've got 24 is equal to 30 minus 1. That's just x. There you go, x equals 24. Happy days. So no matter how many fractions and other random numbers and stuff you've got shoved in a question, you can solve it by just putting everything in brackets and choosing a magical number that all of your denominators fit inside.